Okay, welcome everyone to the People Speak Out. So it is Monday, 23rd of February. Welcome to Sas and Patrick, to Chris, Elaine, Richard, Conrad, Val, Eileen, David, T, Peter. Great to see so many of you already on the call. We're holding the space. Obviously, we're recording this for anyone who wants to watch afterwards. We tend to get about 1,000 views if we're not deleted by YouTube. So and we are now into our, oh my goodness, sixth year actually. I think it's the sixth year, yeah. So I just wanted to open by saying we had the most amazing night on Friday at the World's End Cafe in Chelsea Harbour. Wonderful group. Mog was singing her mantras. I was doing a bit of metaphysical business wisdom. We handed out rattles with everyone, and everyone was rattling along and singing along, and it was just a great vibe. And it really brought it home to me how powerful and how important it is. Much as Zoom is wonderful and it's all of the digital tools available to us, how important and energetically powerful it is to gather in person with one another and to share that energy. And that's one thing I'm really devoted to this year and going forward, as well as obviously doing Zoom events to host lots more events. So we're going to be doing some more dates at the end of April and early May and in early July, and then maybe we'll do some more in the autumn. So Mog and I are absolutely clear that we're going to keep going. It was an interesting process because it didn't get that immediate ticket reaction, that yes reaction. So we decided to focus on London, and it was like a kind of relentless focus, but in the end we pretty much got a full house. And the interesting thing is Rog and I are also doing a law event in May in York, which I didn't actually think would get much traction, but that has really flown out of the gates, and that's well over half full, months ahead. It's not until the Saturday the 9th of May. So if you want to come to that, that's an event all about practical application of our lawful rights, and I'll put the link to that below. And also, if I get some more dates up and running, I'll put them below the video, or I'll send them out via email when we've got some more dates for the Red Deer Green Dragon tour. So, and obviously Sas is always doing events at the solstices and equinoxes and festivals like Beltane and Samhain. So Sas is very much on the same page with this, meeting in the forest and gathering in circle. It's just really, really important. And of course, the astrology of Friday night, we had the Neptune-Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries, which was hot on the heels of last week's new moon solar eclipse. And my own feeling is it's like everything's gone to the next octave. Everything's gone to the next level of expansion and co-creative collaboration. So just to tie in with what we said before we started the call, yesterday I actually went to see the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the extended director's version cut at Tottenham Cinema, and it started at 11 a.m. and it ended at 1:45. It was an epic marathon. It was a bit like sitting on a long haul flight to somewhere like Japan, but it was just so great. And obviously people had come with their pointy ears and dressed up as wizards. I just came as my normal self. But it was just so much fun to watch this epic masterpiece of Lord of the Rings, and I haven't seen it probably for a decade. I've got the videos, but I hadn't actually watched it for a long time. And it's such a great tale of that fellowship of the ring, that camaraderie, and it's obviously all rooted in J.R.R. Tolkien's experience of World War I and going on that quest of leaving the Shire and the beauty of the kind of peaceful green meadows and going into that, the Mordor, the evil, and on that quest to destroy the ring in the fires of Mount Doom. Such a great tale of camaraderie, of support, of doing things together as opposed to solo. It's such a great theme as we open to this new golden era of love, peace and prosperity, and putting the ring of the old system of command and control into the fires of Mount Doom so that we do not have to put up with that shit anymore. Interestingly, I came out to my car. I went actually with my son, Paul, MJ's brother, and because he's really into Lord of the Rings. Came back to my car to this parking ticket, and it's like all joy. It's like the system, any joy of like wonderful, it's like a boot comes and stamps on it and grinds it into the ground. It put, you've overrun you. Cause I paid for 4 hours, the maximum. Obviously it was a 12-hour gig, so I paid the maximum I could put in money because they won't take more than 4 hours. Where else am I going to park in Totnes? It's all 4-hour limitations. And of course I got a parking ticket, which I'll probably ceremonially incinerate. Probably, I don't know. Anyhow, so that's my little intro. So I really would welcome all voices. I welcome, it is the people speak out as opposed to Rachel speaks out, although I'm more than happy to chat away, and I know Sas is probably raring to contribute, but if you do want to come on to speak, whatever's coming up for you, your observations, what's unfolding, please do come on the call and put your yellow hand up or your physical hand up, because I can see everyone, so I've got the gallery view on, if you'd like to contribute and say have a no and make a contribution. Don't all shout at once. Oh, here's Jane. Great. Let's come to you, Jane, and then we'll come to, we got another Jane. So we'll come to Jane Goodall, and then we'll come to Jane Milligan, and then we'll come to David Love and Freedom. Great. That's wonderful. Okay. Oh, and Patrick's got his hand up. Wonderful. We've got lots of hands up. That's nice to have a nice queue of you queuing to speak. So I'm going to put it onto speaker view for you, Jane. So
okay.
It's nice to see everyone's faces.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Just saying hello because I've been following you since Rachel smells a rat, and you've been brilliant. Yeah, always work. It's always worked for me. Yeah, your vibes have always been spot on for me, and it's the first time, although I've watched some of the updates of this, I've never joined you live, so thought I would. And you don't live too far away from me now either. I'm in Ashburton.
Oh really? Oh yeah. Wow, I'll have to pop across and see you.
Oh, that would be brilliant. Yeah, great. I've been here, but yeah, it's a wonderful part of the world to be. It feels.
Tell everyone what you do, Jane.
I don't do much.
What's your passion? What's your
I don't know. My past is a long 71 years long. I've done all sorts of different jobs, got 3 children, divorced twice, generally following a spiritual from when I was young, obviously nothing makes sense to some of us, and you think, this really doesn't add up, this doesn't add up. When I was, after my first divorce, when I was about 40-ish, around 40, I was able to start following the spiritual path a little bit more. Met my second husband, who was brilliant on that journey, which we did together, a lot of it. And then, that obviously we had to do what we had to do, because that's the way it works, isn't it? And David Icke. Sorry, brilliant. Well, First time I read David Icke book, with my second husband because, you know, as it happened, he read it first because I found actually when I first opened it, I was very inquisitive to see what was in it because I'd remembered years ago, you know, seeing him on the television with good old Terry Wogan and being horrified that anyone would send up somebody who was obviously sincere. And so when I saw one of his books in Tavistock charity shop, I thought, okay, let's see what it's about. When I started to read it, I came across the reptilian thing quite early, and although I wanted to read the book, I didn't. I was always scared of snakes, so I thought, I don't really want to know if Prince Philip's a reptilian. So I sort of put my husband I was with then read the book for me. He gave me a quick synopsis and said, and then of course I read it all and yeah, it answers all the questions.
Cool.
I thought so. Anyway, that's up to 40, and I'm now in my 70s and happily landed in Ashburton. And
lovely.
Yeah, but particularly was very struck when you were brave enough to speak out and so clearly when you smelt a rat, and I thought, I've followed you ever since. Thank you. Thank you for your
wonderful, Jane. Is there something that, yes, thank you for that. Is there something that you wanted to kind of raise?
No, I just wanted to say thank you, and that's why I'm joining you today for the first time.
Fabulous.
I mean, obviously, I'm aware of all the stuff that's going on. Oh, yeah, the Year of the Fire Horse, brilliant. And I've, really noticed just so many things are sort of changing, and you think, hang on, I feel different. Oh, but it's the Year of the Fire Horse, and it's new beginnings, and in 1 year as well, and all the other stuff. Yeah, shedding lots of crap like we all have been, and feeling good to go.
Cool, wonderful, Jane. Yes, it's a bit like the Grand National, isn't it? When it goes like, and all the horses start and they're galloping towards the flat, and they're jumping, and it's kind of, I'm feeling that energy. It's like, and they're off, you know.
We get there in the end.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful year of fire horse energy.
Yeah.
Thank you for opening the show, Jane. And where's the other Jane? Jane Milligan. Let's come to you next. Hi.
Hello. I didn't really have a hand up, but hello everybody. And I didn't have a hand up, did I, Rachel?
I thought you put your hand up.
Oh, I think it might have been my physical hand, maybe. But just I have nothing really to add other than I'm on this journey with you all, and so grateful for this beautiful group that meets. I was an early attendee back 5 years ago, I think it was this one I jumped in and we chatted, and it was a lifeline, and I dip in and out, and I have been away for a while, but it's now so fully formed, and our course is so strong, I feel. And at the time I remember saying to you, it's all going to be okay, even though it felt like it wasn't. I still have to maintain that, and I hope that everybody feels that deep down it will all be okay.
Cool.
Given our sort of joint feelings and stuff. But yeah, eternally grateful for this group, really, and everything it represents. So thank you, Rachel.
Yeah.
Sas.
Thank
I absolutely love it when you both host. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Jane. And it's great to have you on, and to know that you're appreciating it sort of from afar for these 5 years, because people have some sort of naysayers have said, it's just a group of old, fogies saying blah 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 blah, and because I suppose we're the old guard, aren't we? A lot of us, well, not all of us. I mean, Dave's quite young and not, but we're kind of the wisdom keepers, shall we say? But it's important. It's important to have this old guard who remember. Yeah. We remember before digital everything, and we remember the good old days before all this crap started coming in. I'm sure there was lots of crap back then, but there was a lot more purity. And it's a bit like when Frodo and Samwise Gamgee talk about the Shire, and would things ever go back to the way that they were? Like when they went back to the Shire eventually, they went back as men.
I think underneath it all, the Shire remains, and I think we know in our hearts it's always there, the Shire.
Yeah.
I am a fire horse baby, so it's my 60th this year. So
Oh, wonderful. That's a great year for you then.
Yeah, I guess
Fabulous.
so. I don't know, sort of nursing the elderly all over the country and sort of negotiating things and working and trying to find the right course and find my community, because I think it is about the new community at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And finding the people we can move forward with and keep our feet on the ground,
Yeah.
and stay grounded in what appears to be an absolute shit show. But underneath it all, the Shire remains. I truly feel it's always there for us to access
Yeah.
if we just get grounded enough. And through things like this, it gives me so much hope. So
Cool.
eternally grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry to have missed Friday night. I'm a singer, so I really wanted to get down there. And
Oh, well, we're doing more dates, so hopefully you
yeah,
get to come
beautiful.
to another. I haven't actually, they're more a bit more sort of central, but maybe I'll do one in like Devon way.
Yeah,
So
beautiful.
we'll see. Cool.
Okay,
Okay.
much love to all.
Thanks, Jane. Okie doke. So, David, love and freedom. Hi.
Hello, hi, how you doing there, Rachel? Nice to see you. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say how lovely it was to have Jane accidentally putting her hand up, because she had lots of lovely things to say. Thank you, Jane. Both Janes. It's interesting with Lord of the Rings. I mean, I remember Lord of the Rings very fondly. I remember watching the films. I tried to read the books. I don't know how successful I was with the books. They're quite big books. But I was actually, what I noticed is that The Hobbit, which was a series that followed afterwards,
Yeah.
in some ways it seemed more comical and it almost trivialized things a lot more. So The Hobbit seemed a lot more for entertainment purposes, whereas Lord of the Rings was a lot more deeper and meaningful in a way. So I was a little bit disappointed with the adaptations of the Hobbit books, because they weren't like the books at all. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. Another thing I wanted to mention was the last Thursday there was a group of us from Stand in the Park groups in Dorset who did an outreach outside BBC Question Time in Ringwood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well
so we
done.
had yellow boards lining the streets with lots of truth messages
Great.
for the audience. Yeah, it was, and I have to say it was a really lovely event, very well organised, and we had 35 people from the Dorset Stand in the Park groups who came along and showed their support and solidarity, and brought our messages to the general public who were coming in for BBC Questions Time. And what was lovely is that we had so many enthusiastic hoots from car horns as people drove past.
Nice.
Lots of cheering for the windows. There was a group of school children who walked towards me as I was approaching the venue. And they looked probably about 12, 13 years old. And I could hear them chanting very, very loudly, Keir Starmer's AW. I won't say it on this screen, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And they were singing the song Keir Starmer's a W as they walked away from the venue. So I thought, I must be heading in the right direction. So it was a really lovely event, I have to say. And so big shout out to the Dorset groups for that. Interesting enough, I think the Question Time organisers made sure that the MPs and celebrities went in a different direction to come into the building from a different road to avoid us, because we didn't see any MPs or celebrities there.
Came in through the stage door.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just to avoid seeing us all, because we didn't want to kind of, clearly they didn't want to be too unsettled by members of the public standing to greet them on the roadside.
Yeah.
So I did some videos, and we're still working on some interviews I did from the events, because I interviewed different people with the boards. So I'll put up a link for those in the chat if people want to see those on my Love and Freedom YouTube channel.
Cool.
So that's it, really.
Great. Thanks, David. Thanks for that update.
Pleasure.
I'm going to mute you back there because I've got a bit of an echo coming. So this weekend is the Stand in the Park monthly first Sunday of the month. So I'm going to be up in Derbyshire this weekend. It will either be at Matlock or Belper, because I'm not sure if Matlock are doing the first Sunday of the month. They might be doing the second, in which case we might be at Belper. But if anyone's in Derbyshire, come to one of those Stand in the Parks. I'll put it on Rachel Speaks Out when I discover where we're going to be. So it'll be great to see you. But how wonderful that you're doing that positive activism, that peaceful protest, simple, where it matters, And this is the thing. I was talking to Dr. Dave Cartland about this after we finished doing the interview at Cornwall on the beach, and we went for coffee afterwards, and he was just talking about how in his smear articles, every time he's smeared, like in the Daily Mail or any of these places in the media, the comments of the people, the comments of support, the avalanche of we the people and supportive comments. And I found that when they've tried to smear me, it's like for every nasty negative comment, there's 9 positive ones, so we're vastly outnumbered. And so all of these journalists, they know the pulse of the people and the public opinion, and they know they can't suppress it forever. This is very interesting times with this media whitewash, shall we say. Okay, we're going to come to Patrick next, and then we'll come to Conrad. And anyone else who wants to speak, please put your hand up. The yellow hands up symbol is the best way to do that, because when I'm doing the call on speaker view, I can only see a small number of you on the top of the screen. So it just helps if you put the yellow hands up symbol, because you come to the top of the screen. So let's come to Patrick next. Hi, Patrick.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, I've been missing for quite a few months, but mostly due to computer problems or laziness in trying to solve computer problems. But anyway, I decided today to plug in, and I'm surprised that it all works very well. As for what's on my mind, I mean, I hate to always maybe be harping on negative things, but I do find myself very disturbed by this idea about the war on Iran. The feeling that somebody can be attacked for no reason, no justification, but more and more there's nobody's trying to stop it. Like I lived in America during the Gulf War I and II. There was a lot of debate. There was debates in Congress. There was senators talking out. Now it's nothing. It's so strange what a change has happened, like in terms of a lack of democracy, if you want to call it that. Like there's absolutely almost zero pushback against this. To me, it's a completely unjustified war. Like they don't even have to justify it anymore. With Saddam Hussein, I had to go through a big bogus proof that he had WMD, blah, blah, blah. Now it doesn't matter. We just don't like the look of you. We're going to attack you and we're going to ruin your country. I mean, it's a shocking development. So, I mean, maybe people who think things are getting better, I don't see it that way. I mean, it seems to be getting worse,
Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like it's all being seen, it's all being laid bare, isn't it? That like this bully boy tactics, and then obviously all the Epstein stuff, and it's like the kimonos being opened, and we're just seeing the full.
Right.
Like there's no democracy. It's just like all about power and money. And it was quite interesting, just to slightly divert, but watching the credits of Lord of the Rings, the producer on that was Harvey Weinstein. Weinstein, don't know how to pronounce his name. And so obviously there was big, I don't want to get into kind of debates about sort of different sects, but big money, a huge amount of money went into financing that trilogy. And obviously with the whole Epstein thing and the Harvey Weinstein thing, big ritual humiliations. It's like they choose one of their own to ritually humiliate as a kind of poster, like to take one person to deflect focus off the true kind of criminals.
Well, right, and that's the other thing. There's this sort of pile-on effect. Even a man in England, Andrew, I'm not a great fan of him, but all of a sudden he becomes literally radioactive. Everybody turns against him.
Well, this is the point. It's like they have to point of focus.
Right.
And I was talking to someone after the event who was saying about, do you remember there was those horses running through London with blood over them? a couple of years ago. There were like 2 horses. Oh, there's these horses loose in London and they're covered in blood.
Right.
And apparently it was 666 days. I haven't checked this out, but apparently it was 666 days before Prince Andrew's 66th birthday, which was when they arrested him.
Oh, right.
So it's like all these satanic clues that they were like planning something. So it's very interesting. So just like I haven't checked that out. I like to sort of fact check these things for myself and say, oh, is that actually true? But it's really interesting that there is a sort of ritual humiliation, and the similar thing that Dr. Dave Cartland was saying with him, and I know that from standing in politics. It's like they take someone and they have to like destroy them publicly as a ritual humiliation to kind of stop others, keep everyone else in check and obediently compliant. Otherwise, you might be picked as the next. If you don't comply and you speak out and you rock the boat, you might well be the next that they choose to ritually humiliate.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, I'm just reminded of something else. Obviously, maybe somewhat of a conspiracy idea, but, you know, somebody supposedly tried to break into Trump's place in Florida 2 days ago. I think he was shot. But
okay, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, but this one commentator was pointing out that this could even, or probably is, to make Trump himself feel not safe. You know, like it kind of gives him a message. Like, you know, like if you don't go ahead with this butchery or this war, you might be the next to pay, kind of a thing. You know, and Trump, he kind of straddles that line. He's in charge, but he could also become like another Prince Andrew. I mean, he probably won't, but anyway, I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but it can just turn on someone. But I guess more important, I feel, it turned on a whole country. Iran wants nothing just and to be left alone. It seems to be that's their major crime. You know, they just want to be left alone, and they want to run things the way they want to run them. You know, and then of course the BBC joined it, completely ginned up this thing about all the people that were being killed in Iran. Almost totally propaganda, I think, from what I can tell. But the BBC supports this kind of thing, and this gets everyone in the mood for a war, you know? And I have to say, I mean, most people here are English. I'm Irish, and I live in Ireland. I guess we tend to get more exercised by this because we know what it means to be humiliated and attacked for no reason and starved and forced to immigrate. We know this. It's only 150 years ago that all that happened here, you know? Anyway, I'm just trying to throw that in. I mean, I do like the English very much, but I don't know, you guys are rather complacent. I mean, even here today, we're all sitting talking about spiritual things. Meanwhile, a country is about to be freaking destroyed. I know there's nothing we can do about it, you know?
Sorry, Patrick, I'm distracted because my computer's saying that my memory is almost full and I'm having to kind of delete some old files while you're talking about that.
Okay.
So apologies if I'm just a bit distracted there. Yeah. Now this is an interesting thing because it's come up on a group, a Telegram group this week about spiritual work isn't powerful and we need to take action.
Right.
But I really am a true believer that intention and imagination and visualization and meditation and prayer, and particularly when you do it collectively in circle, are incredibly powerful. And then when you back that up with inspired action like David and the yellow boards, or like doing a focused sort of protest, so there is and things like meditation and prayer, people say, oh, that's just sitting around doing nothing. Actually, no, it's not. It's extremely focused energy. And it's, in my experience, that is why, or in my observation, that is why the powers that shouldn't be are constantly trying to distract us, putting our energy onto, oh, this latest reveal of 3 million Epstein files, or, oh, they're going to open the, oh God, my computer is really playing up. We're going to open all the UFO and extraterrestrial files, and it's almost like deluge with a whole load of, so we can put the focus on on the latest kind of surreality show episode, and not have the full people's focus on co-creating the more beautiful future our hearts know is possible. So keeping focused on that co-creative new golden era and bringing that in is a very important piece of spiritual work. And Sas has got her hand up, and I will come to Sas. I'm sure she wants to speak about that. So thank you to you, Patrick, for coming on. I'm going to come to Conrad next, and then I'm going to come to Sas. I know Sas could probably easily talk for the rest of the call on this. Anyway, we'll keep going round. And anyone who wants to put their hand up, please put your hand up, because once I get started talking with Sas, it could easily be the rest of the call. Just so you know. Sas and Rach speak out. Okay, Conrad, come over to you.
Hello, everybody on the call. And a quick contact while I can to Jane in Ashburton. So Jane in Ashburton, do come and visit. I'm near Salcombe sometime, but we can do that privately at some other time. Just before the call started, I finished listening to your interview with Dave Cartland. Poor chap's been awfully harassed, and I'm very sad about that. What I found surprising was that he was talking about the costs of having to defend himself, and of course the uselessness. This was the saddest part of all, the uselessness of even attempting to defend himself. He wasn't allowed to, basically.
Yeah.
And I've come to the conclusion that it's time that, should we find ourselves in those sort of situations, and I ask everybody there what their comments might be, is that we just basically say, I do not have anything to do with your jurisdiction. I'm not part of your jurisdiction. Now, that's easy to say, but the work that has to be done is in the old heart. Well, I say old heart because mine's an old one. Good one. But I do feel that it's time we just say, no, we don't recognize this. Why are we putting so much energy into their system? It's actually what they want. And it's time for us to step up and have the courage just to say, I don't recognize your jurisdiction. And just to confirm it for them, you can also say to them, just so you know, I actually do live under God's law. I live under natural law to do no harm. Now that's probably not going to put you in a very good standing. But if your heart is totally there in that belief, idea of it, then I feel it will actually start to work. Any comments?
Thank you, Conrad. And actually, that was what I was kind of saying to Dr. Dave when I was walking on the beach with him. It's like, hold on a second. What jurisdiction has the GMC over you? Could you just let's get really clear on that? And he was saying, well, it was like an employment tribunal. And actually, afterwards, and I when you're interviewing, is sometimes you don't kind of think clearly, and afterwards, just thinking, but hold on. Who is his employer, or who was his employer? It probably was some doctor's surgery in Cornwall. So the GMC was not his employer. And he said they're a charity. So who is the GMC to tell him what to do? And in fact, his book was called Do No Harm, I think. One of the two books that he's written. And then when he said, oh, and the FA, they won't let me referee football matches. And I asked him, what gives the Football Association the right to tell you what you can and can't do, assuming you get 22 adult, blokes who want to play a football match, and they say, yeah, Dave, go on, we want you to referee. Who is the Football Association to tell him what he can and cannot do? And it's so important, which is why Dean of Buxton and Rog and I are doing these events on law, because all these legal things, these lawful things, these fundamental lawful rights are the linchpin by which the old corrupt system holds its power. But when you pull that linchpin out, when you you actually pull it out, like, well, and start asking those questions. Hold on, what jurisdiction do you have over me? I don't consent to the jurisdiction of this court. I require a trial by jury. I have a lawful right to referee a football match if I so choose. I have a lawful right to speak my truth, and I have a lawful obligation, because I'm committed to doing no harm, injury, or loss, to speak out against jabs because I believe them to be harmful. So it's like everything that he's doing is absolutely lawful. And the fact that, sorry, you got me on a rant here, but the fact that the GMC, very sneaky, they didn't take him head on about his jab beliefs. They took him on head on over harassment, so that they didn't have to, in the tribunal, hear all his evidence about jabs and jab injuries and myocarditis and all of the rest of it. So they're very, very sneaky. Total suppression and absolutely outrageous. So thank you for raising that, Conrad. It's such an important thing. And when we, as you know, I've interviewed you, and your philosophy, which is so important, when you just really bring it back to basics. I am free, and provided I do cause no harm, injury, or loss, I'm absolutely free to do as I wish. And same with that car park last night. I own that car park. We the people own these car parks. They belong to the councils and the public. It was a public car park owned by the council. I was causing no harm, injury, or loss. I paid my 4 hours. Who has the right to put a ticket on my car and tried to charge me 50 quid for the privilege of parking in a car park, which I freaking own along with all of you? So these are things that, as we start questioning, the whole system starts to collapse and unravel. Sas, let's come to you next. Thanks, Conrad. I hope I didn't talk too much over you, but that was great that you brought that up, that point. So let's come to Sas next. And we got 20 minutes. So if anyone wants to come on the call, please do put your yellow hands up, because I will just allow Sas to talk, and she could easily fill the next 20 minutes. So over to you, Sas. Oh, you need to unmute, sweetie.
I'm trying.
There you go.
I have been trying, and it seems as if the controllers don't want me to speak. Isn't that you?
I'm the controller, but I've pressed the button.
I know. It kept saying the host needs to unmute you, so that's quite funny. Several things that come up there. So Patrick, in response to your, which I think a lot of people actually feel is the spiritual sort of aspect of trying to deal with our current world situation. Is it just like what it's probably a very ungainly phrase, but sort of pissing in the wind, if you like. But actually, I was doing an event yesterday, which was all about the quantum field, to empower people to understand that if you understand about the quantum field, that is the invisible force field around us. And it's like a mold, a jelly mold, where you're imprinting your thoughts and your feelings. And the more we sort of pour the same thoughts and feelings into the quantum field, it then expresses like a jelly mold when it sets. So the collapse is happening all around us, because obviously you see Andrew, I forgot what they call him now, Andrew Windsor Mountbatten. And it's interesting they call him Mountbatten, because Lord Mountbatten, who was blown up, I think it was in the 80s or late 80s, he was blown up in Ireland. He was known, and he was being followed by all sorts of secret services to uncover his mass sort of paedophile behaviour. And so it's interesting that they reverted to calling him Mountbatten, because he's been seen as a paedophile now, and there's association. It's like giving you a little clue. So you've got Lord Mountbatten, and you've got Jimmy Savile, who was obviously a great friend of the royal family, and especially Prince Charles, who was allegedly procuring girls for whoever, that sort of sector of society that were into that. I've seen many people standing out, many young girls, or now sort of adults, standing outside Windsor Castle, explaining that she used to be, she's sort of revealing her story, how she used to be picked up by the police, by the Metropolitan Police, and then taken to Windsor Castle. They raped her a lot before she got there, 3 or 4 times, different policemen. Then they took her to the castle, where she was taken to the dungeons, and there was all sorts of rituals going on with, allegedly, obviously I wasn't there, but this is what she's saying, and who's experienced, running through the most horrific rituals that you could possibly imagine, involving the late Queen, involving Prince Philip, Prince Charles, and how they transformed. And again, we're talking about frequency here, how this energy is helping who they're working for, which are in the shadows, you can't see them, and they come through during these rituals, which is why they perform them. It gives them power and strength and keeps them in their sort of top positions. And this is why it seems to be happening all over the world. It seems to be massive, because the controllers that we can't see are in the shadows. They use these people to keep their strength and energy, to suck the energy from humanity. So that is, you know, going on. So Andrew is the fall guy, but nobody's sort of questioning. Also, the Queen, who painted her portrait, was Sir Rolf Harris, and he was another one who was put in jail for, you know, interfering with young boys.
Yes.
So they seem to be surrounded by paedophiles. And then I also heard over the weekend, it reminded me, do you remember there was an incident at Sandringham, I think it was about 2011, there was a teenage girl that went missing, and they were looking for her everywhere, and she turned up, a walker found her on the grounds of Sandringham Estate. And it was on New Year's Day, and obviously the royal family do spend their Christmas holiday at Sandringham. So I'm wondering, how on earth did anybody get past security, which was going to be high, isn't it, at the gates of a royal estate? And the boundaries are obviously going to be paraded as well. And a dog walker found this body. And to this day, they have never found anyone who was responsible for her murder. So all of this is cloaked. And what I'm saying is, when you work in the quantum field, when there's lots of people meditating, doing work that is to sort of agitate that quantum field, it starts to collapse.
Yes.
Like Jericho. And that's what I see is happening, is that more and more information is coming to light. I mean, I keep mentioning about the fraud of the birth certificates, which I don't know if any of you know about, but I'm sure you do. But when you're born, your placenta becomes your twin. That's why they want you in hospitals giving birth, because then they have access to your twin, or your placenta. They weigh it. That's where the expression "you're worth your weight in gold." And then they set up a trust. But we don't know about it, because unless you claim it, then you're dead at sea. You can't access this trust fund, which is worth millions and millions and millions, depending on the weight that you're born with. Your placenta is weighed, and then they set up an account, give you a birth certificate, which is really your dead twin. And that is your corporate identity, so they can fine you, they can, and they trade on, the birth certificate's got a mark on it, like a stock number mark, and you're traded on that, and absolute millions of pounds on your future spend, your mortgages, or your fines, or your taxes, is then traded on the stock market. So people are trying to access that fund now. It was set up as a Cester Cuvée Trust, which in 1666, after the Great Fire of London, it was declared that all men, women and children were dead at sea, and they brought in Admiralty law, which is why you stand in a dock and why you're born with the help of a doctor. And so everything's based, if you think about all the ships as well, the relationships, the stewardships, everything with a ship in it is to do with our Admiralty law. So all of this is now starting to come to light. Different people are focusing on different areas of the fraud, but that is a massive fraud. That you have a twin. If you think about the straw man in the Wizard of Oz, the straw man had no brain, it wasn't a living entity. The Tin Man stands for tax insurance number. And the only living thing, and that was Dorothy and Toto, and they were both sort of attacked by the witch, but the others weren't, because they weren't living beings. They were just representations of aspects of society being set up. They're basically imprisoned. So when they eventually find the Wizard of Oz, they pull back the curtain, and it's just an old man pulling levers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's no real power. It's only what the power that people gave the Wizard of Oz was that he was this magnificent, huge, amazing wizard, and you daren't cross him, and everyone was kowtowing to him. Like with the parking tickets, like with, I can really relate, Rachel, because I went to, I thought I'll go to an out of town retail park, because I know there's huge amounts of space, there's loads of shops, you can spend hours there, and you're not going to get any tickets or anything. I get there, and there's all these signs up saying if you spend any longer than this amount of time, you're going to get £100 fine. And I thought, this has been here for years. We paid for it all with our taxes. These roads and this retail park has been built by us, by our hard work and by people's, money and taxes. How do they charge you? Well, the whole point of being an out-of-town retail park is that you've got much more space to park. Why are they charging us for parking? Or why are they fining us? Because they know people easily spend 3 or 4 hours, like if you go to the cinema, for example.
Yeah.
People go to the shop and they pop into the coffee shop, 3.5 hours, 4 hours is gone, £100 fine. So people are really rising up against this because it's just complete and utter fraudulent.
Yes.
So when you're talking about Iran and what's going on in there, I mean, I'm pretty sure they have been murdering lots of their own citizens, have been anyone standing up. So in a way, you kind of want someone to step in and say, this has got to stop. You're murdering all these young lives. But again, we don't really know unless we're there what's really going on. But what we do know is that our world is run by criminals, psychopathic, satanic, murdering, loopy-loos, basically. They have no authority under God's law. And if you stand in your power and your supremacy as a child of God, which we all are, then that is what we really need, is to stand in that sovereign power, so we don't feel overpowered by the criminals, because that's what they are. They're the mafia. But they're legalised. They're not lawful. They're legalised mafia.
Yes.
Which allow them to steal the money off the people in any which way you can. And it's completely outrageous. And I would say is that we need, well, I wouldn't say we need to, but what would be a good idea would be to start withdrawing the money that they use to keep this criminal empire going. And that's through our taxes, I know you can't always do that if you're working and they take money directly from you as a PAYE. But as a self-employed person, you can withdraw your energy and not pay the council tax because you are funding criminal activity, in fact, terrorism. So terrorism, to support terrorism, is a criminal act, whereas to not pay your council tax is a civil offence. So I would prefer to be on a civil offence rather than a criminal offence. But they are basically fraudulent and we're run by criminals. So anything goes, Patrick. It's lawless.
Yeah.
They only use the legal statutes and acts and not lawfulness. And that is the difference.
It is an interesting thing about this whole council tax, because obviously we know that most of the councils now are bankrupt or teetering on bankruptcy. So a lot of people now are just not paying their council tax, whether they're defiantly not paying or they just can't pay because it's so ridiculously expensive. So now what they're doing is they're putting business rates up to these insane levels, which is putting people out of business. They're also pumping up all of these fines, so like parking fines, bus lanes, all these, these like all these speeding fines. I mean, that's more of a police thing, but the police are funded by the councils and obviously having to top up their revenue streams. So it's all chasing this money, trying to drain it from we the people, and of course the powers that shouldn't be, these big corporations, they love all of this, because what does a council do if it runs out of money? It starts selling off its assets, starts selling off all of the people's land. And who do they sell it to? Big corporations, and they give them planning permissions. So you get huge, Aldi's and big housing estates which are on greenbelt land, and we've got to relax the planning permission because we need more housing. But of course it's all big corporate. It's all feeding the big corporation machine. So the big corporations, BlackRock, gobbling up all of these assets and resources, taking it off the independent farmers who can't afford to, it's it's really evil. That's
Really
what's
evil
going
people.
on.
But did you hear, Rachel, yesterday on the news? Now, again, whether you can believe the news or not, but our GDP for the year is going to profit by 34 billion.
I heard that we were in some massive surplus, and I was scratching my head thinking, oh, that's come from we the people.
I know. So if there's that, so why they was going on about trying to repay debts, which are basically the debts that the governments have gotten in over many, 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 many years.
Yeah.
And we're paying their debts because they haven't backed up, you know, the currency they use, the paper money, which isn't money, it's just a promissory note.
Yeah.
Say, I will owe you. And when people start saying we want the actual silver or gold to back it, and they haven't got it, then we go into debt. And that's why they are, you know, utilising us as their sort of trust fund, their personal trust.
Yeah. And isn't it funny how like if the doctors want a pay rise or nurses want a pay rise, oh, we haven't got any money for that, but they can pluck 400 billion or however much it was to pay for COVID and all those the jabs, and I mean the whole thing is a complete charade, facade. It's complete fakery.
Because people have been putting their energy into believing that it's there to support us and to help us, this whole system.
Yeah.
It's continuing, and now it needs to be completely, the whole slate needs to be wiped clean. The whole thing needs to come down. It is absolutely outrageous. And the more people start to realise this and go, oh, God, but it's like we've been mind controlled. They developed MK Ultra, which is mind control programs. And they're programmers through the TV, they're programmers through the media, and now through social media. We've been programmed all the time. And so people are in a sort of mesmerised state, not really.
Blind obedient compliance.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's good. I mean, you only need a few % of people to pattern interrupt. And I really believe that we are at that tipping point now where there's enough awake people to actually, just peaceful peaceful mass non-compliance. And I believe it's already happening. I truly believe it. Not even think, I believe it.
Quantum field is what once enough people, like Pam Gregory, for example, just take her. She's doing a institution that she runs that everybody can join in. That is chipping away at old mindset that is keeping this whole system alive.
Yeah.
More highlights of what is really shows run by complete and utter psychopaths.
Yeah. And that's the thing, just one person with focused intention is more powerful than like 10,000 people just like blindly just not focused. That power of focus. So it doesn't take that many people to make a massive shift. I'm going to keep going round, Sas. Thank you for all of that.
You're welcome.
I'm going to come to David and Conrad to finish. We'll probably finish the call because it's 5 to 1. So hi to David coming back in for a second bite of the cherry.
Second wind. Yeah. Thank you. Just going back to what Patrick was saying, and also Sas, you know, I know you mentioned the power of people. In a way, I think the thing which I think is a real threat to these beings, as I call them, is words, talking to each other. During lockdown, as you remember, they closed the pubs, they closed the cafes, they stopped us going out and socialising, because the thing they're terrified of is us talking to each other. And what they would love is for us to all go out on the streets, all wear the same emblems, all carry the same flags. Look at us, we're over here. We're not like that. We are sovereign, we are unique. We have our unique message, and that's what terrifies them, is they do not know where we're going to pop up next and when or where. They're absolutely terrified. And that's the reason why we need to keep talking, keep speaking out and being true to ourselves and share with each other what's really going on. And that's all I have to say. Well, actually, Iraq War, 2 million people were on London streets before the Iraq War began. Tony Blair ignored us. 2 million people, the biggest demo in London's history, and they still went ahead with the Iraq War. This is corruption. It's been happening for many years, as Patrick knows. And sadly, if these beings want to go ahead with what they'll do, they'll try and do so anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Blair, as we know, is completely in the pocket of big corporate money. Completely. Okay, Conrad, let's come to you.
Yeah. Did I unmute?
Yes, hi, Conrad.
I did. Yes. I just wanted to go the other way. I mean, I think it's excellent that we keep abreast of what's going on, and occasionally just share a few bits of information. But let's go the other way and think about more, how are we going to rebuild life? I personally am a facilitator with CABI. I believe Rachel is also a CABI member. Um, In fact, my little piece of woodland is actually an assembly. Myself and two other facilitators. So you can make Cabby into anything you like, your house, your bit of land, or wherever you happen to be. So, and this is building on a parallel society, one that is towards living life the way that we are designed to live. I could go on and tell you a lot more about it, but do look up Community Assembly of the British Isles and join us. I'm giving them a plug. I hope you don't mind. Thank you.
Thanks, Conrad. Yes, thank you for that. All of these associations, as David's saying, lots of little groups and cells of people, and all linking up, all these Stand in the Parks, all these freedom hubs, all of the CABI and the cooperatives like the Albion and Englandy cooperatives, also really, really important. Just to say, there's a couple of minutes left, so I'll just say that this weekend, this Saturday, I will be at Crestbrook Dale from at least 11 a.m. till 2 p.m, if not longer if it's better weather. And that was an interesting exercise because we crowdfunded the purchase of 53 acres at Crestbrook Dale, and the authorities, they came down on us like a ton of bricks. They could not allow that to be a success. They had to try to stamp it out on every level. It was actually a real eye-opener, the levels that they went to try to destroy also infiltrating us with 77th Brigade, which I talked to Dr. Dave Cartland about. I've no doubt in my mind that it was 77th Brigade that led the trolling, that made his life a hell realm and took him to the edge of suicide. So, you know, the system really, really does not want people like you, for example, Conrad, buying some woodland and using your woodworking, shipbuilding skills to create your own amazing place there. And why shouldn't you? We are free man and woman of the land. And if we own land and we're not causing any harm, injury or loss, then we have the right to live and work that land. And who has the right with their clipboard to come and tell us what we can and can't do on land that we own? And this is a real bee in my bonnet, because when we acquired Crestbrook Dale, they slapped tree preservation orders on every tree and every piece of woodland across the original 73 acres that we acquired. We then restructured the deal to own 53 acres outright without any further charges. And part of that land was handed back to Natural England. It was triple SI, so specific scientific interest land, a site of specific scientific interest land, which was fully protected by tree preservation orders. Last month when we went back, John and I witnessed that Natural England had cut down en masse these tree beings. It was absolutely heartbreaking. They had betrayed their own tree preservation order. And when I've gone to the Peak Park Authority to complain, to put in an official complaint about that, you have to refer it to the Forestry Commission. They issued the felling license. It's absolute not wanting to kind of carry the can of that. And so it was wonderful to see in Lord of the Rings all those tree beings walking and I forget the forest. There's a forest. I forget the name of the forest where the tree beings come to life. It's such an amazing. I really truly believe in the power of tree beings. So for me to see all of these tree beings executed en masse, it's deeply upsetting. And so that's I will be pursuing that formal complaint, because the authorities, they need to be hoisted on their own petard. Should we put it like that? Anyway, ending on that note, so if you fancy coming to Crestbrookdale this weekend, we will be on the land, and come and join us, come and join us. So sending you so much love, and if you are in Derbyshire this weekend, we'll be at Stand in the Park, but please do, if you're not local to Derbyshire, go to your local Stand in the Park if you don't already. It's so great, just even if there's only half a dozen people, just to be that stand of solidarity and to meet with other like-minded people, not on Zoom, but in real life, out in nature. So lots of love. Thanks for coming on, everyone. Let's come back to the gallery view. And if you just give us a bit of a wave, thank you so much for coming on. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time when Sas will be in the hosting seat. So lots of love. Bye for now.